Game of Thrones Tarot, The Tower. Hi. So today, Game of Thrones Tarot, The Tower. Now, it's not random. I choose this card. I selected this card. Does that make it any less valid in some way for you? I don't think so. You just follow your own experience on this one. So, The Tower. And let's first start by simply placing it in context by watching the video. Okay. So, as usual, I have this beautiful little device that can actually play a video. And let's see if we can make it. So, here's Bran and Summer. Bran is climbing. That's his hobby. You know, he looks at his feet when he lies, and he lied when he said he wouldn't be climbing. And here he is climbing at a tower. Maybe this is still the wall. But he's pretty high up. Oh yeah, listen, this is an X-rated episode. This is not safe for work, and this is not my fault. This is Game of Thrones. It's a horrible series. Should not be watched. Innocent eyes must be protected. I mean, come on, incest. It's like pretty disgusting. But you know, you could always argue that it's important for art and Oedipus and Greek dramas and who knows what. But here is Cersei and she spots Bran.
Are you completely mad?
He saw us.
It's all right.
He saw us.
I heard you the first time. Quite the little climb, aren't you? How old are you, boy?
10.
10. The things I do for love.
Yeah, so that very final moment. Hold on. When Jamie pushes him, just after he's pushed.
The things I do for love.
Jamie, why did you have to do that? Anyway, so now you see, we more or less actually see the tower from the point of view of Bran. Okay, so what is the meaning of this card? At one point in time I've said that the tower, it was another tower, I think it was Raiderweight. It means nothing other than that you have to update your model of the world. But this shows another aspect of it. When you're free falling, it's not always very pleasant. And Bran, he loses the ability to walk after this incident, after this horrible crime that is committed against him. And he says to his brother, when he lies in the bed, he says to his brother, "I'd rather be dead." And his brother answers, "Don't you ever say that again, Bran." And Bran says, "I'd rather be dead." Life is not always easy and happy. But this card also represents a very much deeper change. Consider the role Bran plays throughout the series. When he develops his green sight, he can see anything from any perspective. He becomes essentially the memory of Westeros. So he has this almost like when he becomes the three-eyed raven. Oh, and speaking of the three-eyed raven, I cannot help but think that these little branches, they are very reminiscent of that weirwood where he actually meets the three-eyed raven, the old three-eyed raven. Now, when he becomes like the memory of Westeros, and that's why the Night King wants to kill him and all, that's actually a little bit reminiscent of another card representing the tower. Because this card from the Crowley Harris deck has this little eye. Well, actually it's a big eye. It's the eye of Shiva. It's the eye that perceives reality objectively, from a universal perspective. And notice here we have little figures falling from the tower. Little figures. Those little figures, you could say that they represent personas that are no longer functional, because they represent old world views. So the tower often signifies that someone is in a situation where their old model of the world, the tower that they've built, it just doesn't stand anymore. Figuring out a new way of being, a new way of thinking about the world is essential in these cases. So one of the things you may want to ask yourself is, how on earth do you deal with a situation like this? And I'll just provide two little answers. One is my own tarot. Oh darn, you can't really see it very well. But at the very bottom of it, it says, accept, detach, run. And I gave this card the title, The Truth. Accept, detach, run. Because when the tower crumbles, you don't want to stay around, right? You want to get away from it. You want to start building the new tower. So the second way of handling situations that are like the tower, when your truths turn out to be illusions, when your tower is just crumbling beneath you. I want to communicate this idea by reading this poem by Rudyard Kipling. The poem is If. Now, Rudyard Kipling was a horrible, horrible man. If. Pun not intended, but funny. Rudyard Kipling was a horrible man if you evaluate him with today's values. And personally, I think he was a horrible man considering what he wrote in some other poems, right? But here's the thing. There are some things of great value in this poem. And that's why I pick it. Because I'm not a big fan of taking good stuff and throwing it on the trash heaps of history. I'm more a fan of extracting the good. Extracting the good from the bad. Now, the poem, If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired of waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except a will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the world and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Okay, so the last part was a little bit sexist also. You will be a human young person. Whatever. You get the gist of it. It's basically about not losing your cool. And it's okay to lose your cool too. So there was one final thing I wanted to mention. You can see this. Almost all the tower cards represent a falling person. But the funny thing is there are some early versions of it, where you can see Adam and Eve expelled from paradise with Gabriel with a burning sword, and they're expelled from one of the towers that are surrounding Eden. That's another kind of fall. Until next.